What up YouTube? How are we feeling today? Hope you're doing great, hope you're doing fantastic. Back with another Division 2 build video, and this is a straight up banger. This is the hardest hitting TU15 spotter build out there, and we're using perfect spotter. This is just a beam machine. This shreds through everything, and no, we're not using the Heartbreaker gear set. There are a lot of builds out there with Heartbreaker already, so I thought I will do something different. That doesn't mean that I will come with more Heartbreaker builds, but for now we're using the perfect spotter build. And a lot of y'all probably already have all these pieces, so it's a pretty easy build to make. There's maybe one piece of gear that you need to farm for a little bit longer, but man, this is a straight up beam machine, and we can hit up to that 5 million crits, guys. This is just straight up crazy. This is not happening on a regular. I ran into Countdown, and as you can see in the gameplay, we pushed the Hunter and bang, we have that 4 million, 5 million crits on the head. It's just straight up crazy. But mostly I have like 3 million to 2.7 million crits on the head when you're playing Countdown, of course. So a big disclaimer. You will have a boost within Countdown that gives you a close range or a long range boost. And this is why this build hits so freaking hard in Countdown itself. And I will of course show you some damage numbers on the shooting range as well. But enough intro, let's dive right into the gameplay and show you what this build is all about. Enjoy!
The control room and find the server.
Warning, system breach. Initiating safety. Warning, system breach. Initiating safety protocol.
Whoever said tech support was boring. One more server and you can reboot the system.
Warning, system breach. Initiating safety protocol.
System reactivated.
location. Hold tight. She'll get you home.
And let's start with my specialization, of course, using the technician. Why are we using the technician? Because we're getting a skill tier that will always help whatever skill you are wearing out. Then, of course, we have the 12% extra damage to drones, skill proxies and robotics. Definitely helps out when you're fighting the Black Tusk in the open world, in missions, or even, of course, in Countdown. But the most important one is the linked laser pointer. This will, of course, give you that laser pointer that will always pulse enemies when you are aiming at them. You don't need your pulse anymore, although I still like to run with it, but you don't really need it. This will pulse everything for a few seconds whenever you aim at that enemy, and this helps out this perfect spotter build a lot. But let's jump over to the gear and how I set up this build. And for my skills, I'm running a Reviver Hive. Why the Reviver Hive? Because that helps me out, of course, stay alive whenever a hunter takes me down, or I'm stupid enough to stand next to a spawn point. It, of course, has one skill tier because we're running a Technician. And I have the 9.3% Reviver Armor as a mod on there, 5% range and 10% duration. Then for my secondary, I went for the normal pulse. Why the normal pulse? Because of course we're running a perfect spotter build. Yes, we are using the linked laser pointer, so the pulse isn't necessary, but I still love to know where all the enemies are. It's a pretty big place, especially within Countdown. I don't really know the spawns just yet. I'm trying to learn them now, but the pulse will definitely help you out where that you need to go. Then again, I have that 15% effect duration on there for this tier 1 scare tier. It's expertise level 2, so I gain another 2% duration. And next to that, I went for the 10% radius mod and the 10% effect duration. So let's start with my main gun. Of course, this gonna be the Kingbreaker, the named AR with, of course, that perfect flatline on there that amplifies your weapon damage by 20% to pulsed enemies, and after 2 kills applies a pulse to the next enemy you hit. Of course, fully god rolled, 15% assault rifle, 21% health and 10% damage to target out of cover. The best attribute you can have on a gun. And then I have an expertise level 1. I can upgrade it a lot further, but I just want to show you some gameplay and of course the damage numbers with the low expertise, because not many people are high expertise, so I'm gonna show you the builds with the low expertise guns. And then for my secondary, I went for the Scorpio. Why the Scorpio? Because this is just a straight up beast, especially within Countdown, what most players are playing right now, and this helps you a lot when facing those hunters. You of course need to make sure that they don't have that 100% hazard protection. So make sure to get that out of the way first, and then it's just easy claps. Just shoot them a few times with the Scorpio, because why? This gives us that extra poison, disorient, shock, and then of course targets takes additional 20% damage from all sources. So they are disorient, they are poisoned, they are shocked, they are stumbling around, and you can take them down very easily. Then for my handgun, I went for the TDR card, or last time I'm playing a little bit more with the Mozambique Special because I still need to get that to proficiency rank 10. I'm never using a handgun, so my tip for you is just switch over your handguns. If it's proficiency rank 10, then just switch over to another one, because then your gun is proficient, and just rinse and repeat until you have the handguns proficient. I think this is just the easiest way, or of course go farm for your handguns, but I'm never using handguns, so this will be my way to get it up to that proficiency rank 10. Then over to the main build, starting with my mask. I'm using a Grupo mask. Why? Because this boosts up our critical hit damage, and it is fully god rolled. 15% weapon damage, 12% critical hit damage, 6% critical hit chance, and a 12% critical hit damage mod on there. Again, make sure that you aim towards that 50 or 55% critical hit chance first, before you stack into critical hit damage. It's a lot better to stack into critical hit chance first, so make sure that you hit the most critical hit shots and then up that critical hit damage so your critical hit shots will hit the hardest. This is my opinion on there, of course. You can of course go for example the Coyote mask, so it boosts your team and of course yourself with some extra crit chance and or crit damage, but I think that the Gruppo mask is a very good way to go as well. For my holster I chose for Seska to again boost up my critical hit chance. It is proficient right now, didn't do anything to this brand set yet, but again, this is fully god rolled. 15% weapon damage, 12% critical hit damage and 6% critical hit chance on there. Then over to my knee pads, of course I chose for the best in slot with the Overlord named knee pads, the Fox's Prayers. 15% weapon damage, of course at 8% damage to target out of cover. This is multiplicative damage, so this is always a very good addition to your build. It will definitely help you out hit the highest numbers that you can hit. And then I rolled at 12% critical hit damage on there. For my gloves, I did exactly the same. Went for the best in slots again. 15% weapon damage, 8% damage to armor. This is again a multiplicative attribute, so definitely use it if you can. And then I rolled that critical hit damage on there. And then over to my backpack, again fully god rolled from Fenris. Why Fenris? Because we're using assault rifle. This boosts up our assault rifle damage for 10% of course. 15% weapon damage, 6% critical hit chance, 12% critical hit damage and a 12% critical hit damage mod on there. And I went for the talent Vigilance. Vigilance increases your total weapon damage by 25% and taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. In my opinion, this is one of the best talents to go for. Or of course you can go for Concussion. This will give you an extra 25% weapon damage as well, as long as you're shooting people on the head. But a lot of people have been practicing shooting on the head, especially with that new gear set in the game, Heartbreaker, that requires you to shoot people on the head to get that pulse if you're of course not running that linked laser pointer. And then over to the most beautiful piece and the most important piece of this build. This is the Uzina Getica named chest, the Closer. Uzina Getica comes with 5% total armor. And again, it's god rolled. 15% weapon damage because I found it with critical hit chance and critical hit damage. So this gave me the opportunity to roll that armor core away for full weapon damage. So this is a full red build, guys. You will shred through everything. Just like I showed you at the intro, you can hit up to that 5 million crits. I don't know where that came from, but yes, you can hit up to that 5 million crits. On countdown, of course, remember that you will have all the passive boosts, that close combat or that long range combat, so you will always get that extra boost upon your builds. And I can show you right now that on the shooting range, this will hit around that 1 million body shots and around that 1.3 million on the head. So keep in mind that there are buffs within the countdown, so this is why this build hits so freaking hard in countdown. But again, most of the people are playing countdown. Back to this chest piece. Why is this so beautiful? Because it comes with a perfect spotter. This increases your total weapon and skill damage by 20% to pulsed enemies. Like I showed you yesterday with the comparison from normal spotter against perfect spotter, this increases your weapon and skill damage by 20%, while the normal spotter amplifies your weapon and skill damage by 15%. So normally you think that the amplified damage would be a lot more, but this could be a UI glitch. This could mean that this is amplified damage as well, or of course the normal spotter is also increases your total weapon damage, but then only by 15. So if you want some more information, definitely check out my video from yesterday where I compare the two and of course talk to you about all the details. But this chest is just godlike, guys, and this is why this perfect spotter build. It's one of the hardest hidden spotter builds out there, and you definitely need to try it out. There's no heartbreaker in there. This is just a normal build. Most of y'all will probably have all the pieces already, and yes, definitely start making this. This just shreds, and you can click heads wherever you are. Let's jump over to the stats real quick. We have 54% critical hit chance, like I said. Make sure to build up to that 50 to 55% critical hit chance first, and then start stacking into the critical hit damage. I have almost 170 critical hit damage, and then of course next to that, that's 75% headshot damage, but that comes from my keener watch, because I have it maxed out. I'm above that 1000 shade level. But that's pretty much it, guys. This is my perfect spotter build. Let me know what you think about this. And definitely try it out. Jump back in the comments and let me know how this build handles. Or of course, how would you run this build? Are there any things that you maybe do different? For example, maybe go for the coyote mask. I would love to hear your opinion on this. But that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribers button. And of course the notification bell. PurePrime out.